Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are listening, watching, or here live. This is Keeping It Real Estate with me, your host, Sara Delansig. And I have a few housekeeping items. And then we're going to have a little fun, do a little exercise with some manifestation. And we're going to take some time to do that. And then afterwards, if people have questions, we can go through some questions. Otherwise, I will give maybe my top 3 do's and don'ts of follow-up, or just give you some of the basics of the follow-up techniques that I see are working and how you can implement them yourself. So I thought I had a call that I could share as well, but when I looked, I think it was one I already shared before. So maybe next time. Okay. So housekeeping. First of all, there is a new app for KGCI radio. You may be listening to this on that app right now. But if you are not on the app and you're listening on where you get podcasts or on Agent Power Huddle or watching it on YouTube or something like that, just so you know, there is a KGCI Real Estate on Air radio app that will soon be, I guess, having all of our episodes. I can't think of the word. It will soon have all of my episodes syndicated. I guess reruns of it every other Wednesday, just like I'm doing right now. But it'll be, I think they put me at 5 p.m. Eastern every other Wednesday. So I'm on today at that time. And so if you are oh, I need to hear more, it's 2 p.m. Pacific, my time. And then it's 5 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, today you can find it. So check it out. All right. So, and it's not just specific to anyone in any specific brokerage. It's brand agnostic, brokerage agnostic. So KGCI Radio works in collaboration with multiple brokerages that I know of, and they bring the best content producers to it. So if you would you can get all your Keeping It Real Estate podcast on KGCI Radio, the app, Real Estate on Air, or you can go to KGCI Real Estate on Air.fm, I think is also. It's an app that has it's like a all real estate all the time app where they're going to be playing audio reruns of the Keeping It Real Estate episodes, along with a bunch of other amazing hosts who I am going to be listening to, and we're kind of critiquing each other back and forth. So it should be fun. All right. The other thing, while thinking of topics for this, I'm actively getting ready to speak at EXPCon 2024 in Miami, leaving in 3 days. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. But I was thinking, okay, so maybe people would like to know how to prepare for an event. However, not everybody's going to hear this right before the event. So maybe sometime down the line, you guys can let me know if you would like my little tips on how to get ready to go to an event and how to network the best. There are little things at first I used to bring paper cards, but you always run out of those. And so you want to, if you have an iPhone, I learned last event that you can just take 2 iPhones from the top together and hold them together, and it will transfer the contact info, and you could save it that way. So there are those little blink. I have a little blink scanner, so you can scan it, a thing. But these are little tips that you need to think about. Also, where I'm at right now, it's about 44 degrees outside in Seattle area. And in Miami, it's double that. It's in the mid 80s. So it's a little bit of a contrast. And then inside the buildings of these events, there's also a big difference in temperature. So always bring little hoodies. And I actually made hoodies that have my website at the bottom. So when I'm going up the escalator, everybody can see it's the insidesalesagency.com. and it's like big enough letters that everybody can see. So if anybody's looking for an ISA, they know how to find me. But we are full at this moment. So this recording is on 10/23/2024. So please bear with me. If you are looking for an ISA and you're a good fit for us, we have a wait list at the moment. Okay, so with that being said, going to be speaking at EXPCon on 10/28 in Miami. We're going to be doing the Now Sellers edition of, this is really funny to me, FSBOs and expired. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a huge proponent of the FSBO, and I wasn't with the expired either. There's a very specific way that I got convinced, I guess I will say, into calling expireds, which are actually luxury expired sellers, and it's working really well. And so that's what we were trying to teach at this event. And so we're going to be Wendy Goss and myself. Wendy Goss is one that convinced me to call luxury expireds, and has since gotten 12 luxury listings in 12 months since she joined the luxury division of EXP Luxury. So we're going to be teaching that, but it's kind of funny because I don't know if you guys know, but like 9 months ago, I was looking for anybody that actually closed FSBOs like on a regular basis. And I put it out to my whole database, and I was like, hey, does anybody actually, close FSBOs right now? And I'd love to pick your brain. Well, some people said they did. And then once I met with them, it was like, no, I haven't done it for years, or I haven't done it in 6 months, or, oh, it just fell in my lap. So I didn't find anyone. So personally, I'm going to try not to talk any smack about the FSBO. But I do think it's kind of funny that I'm in a session about FSBO. But I'm going to just, keep my mouth shut on that part. And I can always be proven wrong, like I was with expired. So we're going to be teaching the follow-up and the whole process that Wendy has come up with, which is just genius. And so I'm really excited about it because it's something different and it's working, which is the most important part, right? I'm pretty sure she's already sold 10 out of the 2 left are like the higher, like much higher price point. We're talking like 11.5 million. So there's that. Okay. So if you happen to be in the Miami area, or if you're going to EXPCon, hit me up. 10/28, 3 p.m. Eastern. Ocean Drive F is where we will be. And I hope to see you there. Okie dokie. All right, so now we're gonna get into an exercise, and I think this is really cool. This was another little thing that popped up. I'm very much about mindset, visualization, I was about to say Asian attraction, but not Asian attraction. What is just the attraction and being mindful and intentional and things like that. So this exercise is really cool. It's called, I'm calling it the manifestation square. So that's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to try to show you guys what I'm talking about on this screen. But basically, we're going to draw a square. You can make it, if you have a piece of paper, maybe just put it in the middle of the paper. We're going to draw a square. And let me erase the name of how to pronounce one of the cities for my client up here. Okay. So just drawing a square, maybe that's like 6 by 6. I don't know, 6 by 6 inches, something like that. So in the top corner, we're going to put number 1. And in the number 1 spot, this is where we are going to use in the present tense what we want, the goal that we have. Okay. So in the video that I was watching, it was like, I just made $10,000, but for the sake of keeping it real estate, I used a different one. So I put in here, I just exceeded my production goals for the year, for 2024. So we're going to write down in present tense, that's really important, what your goal is. So anybody that is doing this, I am putting, I just exceeded my production goals. And you don't put it in the square, you put it above the square. I will show you what I'm doing. If you can see. Yep. Okay, cool. All right. My production goals for 2024. All right. Now to the right. So this one is in the top left corner. And in the top right corner, you put number 2. And this is where we're going to put the outcome, the end scene, what it looks like when you've actually accomplished it. So visualize what you'd receive if you did exceed your production goals for 2024 or whatever year you might want to put in there. And that might be different for everyone, right? So it could be a list of homes sold, or like recognition or an award from your brokerage. It could be the money in your bank account, whatever it looks like to you. Write it in the top number 2 spot. Okay. So I am going to put name on highest top producer list for my brokerage. Let's put that. All right. And then in the bottom right corner, we're going to put number 3. Probably could have made my square smaller because I'm writing mostly outside of it, but we'll get to it. Okay, so number 3 is the feeling that you have. And so this is kind of like a hack so that you can know the things that you need in order to actually manifest what you want to manifest. Okay, so number 3, where the feeling that you get when you see that award, when you see that email, or when you see the money in your bank account. So the first one is the present tense, exactly what you want to achieve. So I just exceeded my production goals for 2024 is the thing that I'm trying to manifest, right? And then in number 2 is what that looks like to you, the end scene, the outcome once it's completed. So, I see my name on a top producer list for my brokerage, and I am going to think about that. But then number 3 is the feeling that I get when I actually achieve it, which can be different for everyone, but I wrote some things down. So imagine the feelings you get from exceeding your production goals this year. Is it excitement, accomplishment, peace of mind, security, confidence? These are all words that I came up with. But you can kind of just think like, oh my gosh, what would that be like? I mean, pretty much all of us have some kind of production goal or some kind of goal that we want to achieve. I'm using production, even though I'm out. You guys all know that I don't really sell real estate. I'm more focused on growing my ISA business and my team and stuff like that. So mine would be, if I was doing it for my own business, it would be like finding the right. I found the right people and the right team to grow my business with, and then the feeling of that is indescribable because it is very difficult to find people. I shouldn't say that because now I just messed up. Now I just contradicted it, but it is easy to find people. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. So number 3, the feeling. And number 4. So if you put those feelings, excitement, peace of mind, security, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like so far. Top left, we have, I just exceeded my production goals for 2024. Top right, name on the top producer list for my brokerage. And then bottom right, the feelings that are associated with it, excitement, peace of mind, security. And then in the bottom left corner, we need to put release and let go. All right. So we're going to believe. I'm going to put believe, release, and let go. In the little video I watched about this, they didn't say believe, but I think that's a key element to this. You have to then believe that it is happening and that you are attracting it, and then you need to release and let go. Okay. And now, the final thing in the number 4. Okay, so it's let it go, believing it is done, and then focus on the gratitude that you feel for having exceeded your production goals or for having done whatever it is you guys are writing down. Okay. So the gratitude is really important. It puts you on I might be speaking gibberish to some of you, but some of you may know what I'm talking about. a certain frequency when you feel gratitude. Okay. There was like a water study done. I've talked about this before, where you can put intention into water droplets and it actually changes its structure, and into beautiful things or ugly things, depending on what you're putting into the water, which is crazy. So now every time I take a bath, I'm like, I have beautiful skin and perfect hair and I burn fat easily, right? So I'm not even joking. So yeah, and tan skin because I am the most pale person. If you guys see me in Miami, I'm gonna try to get a tan, but look, I'm as white as the walls, okay? It's just part of it. Okay. So yes, be grateful. Okay, so I had a quote that I found and I created on Facebook recently that was really good. And I love this quote. So I'm going to share it because if you're not sure how to become grateful, this quote may help. I wrote, I remember when I wanted the things that I have now. I am grateful for what I have now, right? I'm grateful. Like, just think about it. I remember when I wanted flexibility to go into work whenever I wanted to. I remember when I wanted to make the kind of money that I make now. I remember when I had a boss and I had to do what the boss wanted, and I had to, you know, all those things that come along with it, right? We won't get into everything, but you guys understand what I'm saying. So that quote, I remember when I wanted the things that I have now, and I'm grateful for it. That's really important part of it. Okay, so now in the very middle of the box, now what we want to do is you want to take 60 seconds and you want to put all the things together. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Just to recap. Number 1 is the present tense of the goal that you are trying to achieve. So, for example, I just exceeded my production goals for 2024. Number 2 is what that looks like when it's actually accomplished. So, what do you see? How do you know that you did it? Do you see, okay, I just got the 25th closing, right? Are you sitting at the closing table for that, or whatever the case may be, right? And your original goal was 20 and now you're 25. Or do you see your name on an email that says you're a top producer? That's kind of what I use. So I put my name on a top producer list for my brokerage. Number 3 are the feelings associated with it. And number 4 is believing in it, letting it go, and then having gratitude for it to actually happen. So you're already giving the gratitude. This is happening. Thank you for allowing it to happen. Thank you for the opportunity for it to happen. And then in the very middle, what we write is you're gonna write what you wanted, and then you are going to write release, and you circle it, and then you check mark it. Okay. So for example, visualize it for 60 seconds, all of the feelings together, all 4 together. And then you write in the center, it is done. I have released it and let it go. Thank you for this opportunity, or something like that. Right. And then you circle it and put a star around it. So this is just what I saw. I am trying this for the first time with all of you. So this is what I'm going to put. So it is done. Thank you. And let's let it go. All right, circle and check mark. All right, so example, if you guys can see it, if you're listening to this on the radio, visualize. Oh, I just kind of gave it like, thank you for letting this come to pass, release it, let it go. And then if you do this often with the things that you have, I also have another thing. I have this little box. It's like a little prayer box. And you open it and it has I actually got this from my best friend when she was in the hospital. But I was not allowed to visit her when she had COVID, and then she passed. So I've been using it ever since. And it says, when your head starts to worry and your mind just can't rest, put your prayers down on paper and let God do the rest. And so there's a whole bunch in here. And some of them say answered, and some of them say no longer applicable. But I try to do that too. So that's something that you guys can try. Now, I also wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask me questions since there's a few of you here today if you want to, because I don't usually leave enough time for questions because I don't always know if anybody, I don't always know how many people are going to show up. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I can share my call numbers and some of the things that I've been seeing success with as far as, my follow-up, like do's and don'ts. So I'm going to, you guys go ahead and let me know what you want me to do.
Sara, I had a question for you.
Yeah. What's up, Herb?
So, hey, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. This is my little Bentley right here.
Oh, so cute.
So on the follow-ups, or like new leads, things like that, I think I heard you say something once where you said you ask them if there's a realtor that they're working with. How do you phrase that?
Super easy. Great question, too. It is always one of the first questions that I want to ask them when they start telling me that they are actively looking to buy or sell, because I do not want to go down a 20-minute rabbit hole and then they tell me that they already have an agent or their sister's an agent or whatever. So I usually say, hey, so do you happen to already be working with a realtor or with a real estate agent? I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes. So then they know that I'm being respectful. And then they understand that that is kind of, not appropriate. If they have a real estate agent, it would be offensive to that agent. Because sometimes I realize that if I just go, are you working with a real estate agent? They'll be like, kind of, but, and then they end up just kind of dragging us along. But their intention was always, using us for all of the information or tours or whatever. But then they go to their friend when the time comes, right? So I phrase it like that. I say, hey, do you happen to be already working with a realtor? I would hate to, step on anyone's toes if that's the case. And then if they say, yes, I do have a real estate agent, I say, awesome. It sounds like you're in great hands. I'm sure they can help you out. And I leave it at that. If they're like, well, we're not ready yet. And they're like, someday we're going to buy. I try to figure out what their timeline is. Like, let's say they're like, oh, in 6 months when our lease is up, we're going to buy. Well, I would want to call them in 3, right? But then I would say, hey, when the time comes, do you happen to have an agent that you plan on working with? So I just want to give you that one as well, because otherwise, then you usually hear, oh, yeah, you know what? My dad is a realtor, or my so-and-so. And you can always ask, like, are they in the same area? But usually you just kind of know.
What percent of the time do you get people that say that they have agents?
That's a good question. So the other day, like just Monday, what is today? Yeah, Wednesday. So Monday, I am telling you, I had about 4 people tell me that on Monday. I'm going to look at this list and I will tell you.
Do you just out of curiosity, do you think that number's going up right now?
Yes.
I know because I feel that way too. Like I've done a couple open houses recently and I'm seeing more and more people already having agents.
And there's a good reason for it. If we think and I was actually thinking of bringing this up while I was trying to think of topics for these, right? How much people were freaking out before the buyer agency agreement thing and how big a topic that was. And now we're a few months in and, agents have adjusted. I feel like I don't see panic everywhere with everyone anymore, right? But also I think the education for the public is, they've been educated. So now they know, oh, I did sign something with an agent to go tour that home, or I did, even though they can get out of it and they should know that, but you know what I mean? So I think there's a reason for it. And yes, I have seen it go up. Whereas I used to get more bad numbers, wrong numbers, not interested. Now I'm seeing a lot more. I have an agent, in those situations. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of sensing that as well. It's interesting. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, any other questions? No? You good?
Well, I'm good.
Okay.
Good. Anyone else?
You share now. Yeah.
Yes, Suma.
You can share now your tips, everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll try to do this. Well, okay, so I'm going to try to do it really quick, but we're going to have to do another one because it's going to be a little longer. And I want to give you guys a lot more. So one of the tips is actually, well, what we just talked about, making sure you're not going down a rabbit hole of getting all this information, confirming their email, setting up property alerts, and then you find out they have an agent. So I always try to ask if they have an agent within the first few minutes of a conversation. It's almost immediately as soon as they tell me, yes, I'm still looking for a home, or yes, I want to sell my home. The very next question is usually, awesome. Do you happen to be working with an agent already? I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes. Okay. So that's how I phrase it. The next thing is timeline. So there are situations where people will tell you, like, I'm in a lease for 6 months, right? And the timeline to buy is at least 3 months from now, right? So putting somebody in a position, hey, let's go view this home, or let's go do this. You got to set expectations.
Okay.
So you have to be able to. Oh, Herb, I'm gonna you. I don't know that I am the hoster that I can. Autumn, can you? Okay. Thank you. All right. So yeah. So timeline, and that is called like a concession, right? So if somebody has some kind of concession, such as they're in a lease, such as they don't want to move until they retire, they don't want to move. Excuse me. They don't want to move until their children are out of school. And I see this a lot with Zillow, but they want to see homes right away. I was just talking to someone on a team about this. We need to manage expectations, because unless they're ready to put an offer on a home right away, do they need to go tour the home right away, right? So we need to make sure that they understand how that works. So the concessions of ability to buy and timeline need to be thought about, right? So when somebody says those things, we need to understand how to frame that so that our next follow-up would be, at the right timing, right? So if they're going to I usually do it about half the time they say, unless they're in a lease, which is about 3 months before, because it usually takes about 3 months to find something to buy, right? Or even to sell. Some people may take 3 months to get it ready to sell, because there's a lot of work that goes into getting a home ready to be, shown to buyers, right? So those are some of the things that I would say. The other thing is consistency is key. Like, just if we're doing bullet points, consistency, authenticity, having real conversations, trying to be too professional is a serious problem in this business. Changing your voice to have radio voice. Hello, this is Sara with KGTI. You know what I'm talking about, right? I just threw that out there because I know what that is now. Radio voice is a real thing. I did an interview for radio, and sorry, I hate to call this person. I'm not going to say him by name, but you guys will hear an interview I did, and his voice will totally change. And I called him out on it, not on the air, because that would have been messed up. But I was like, "Hey, your voice changed." He said, "Yeah, it's a real thing. They like train their voice, to have this radio voice, and that's not what you want to do on phone calls." Okay, so it's the opposite of that, because you need to show your authenticity through. I'm actually training someone right now on how to make calls, and I noticed they changed their voice because they felt like they had to. And I was like, just give it a shot with your normal voice. Let's just see what happens. Speak the way you normally speak. Don't try to, make it something that you're not. So I think when you can have those conversations, and you come across that way, which when I get back from EXPCon, I very much hope to share more call recordings, because I have some where I'm calling luxury and the conversation is different. And so I want you guys to hear how these people tell me, well, I almost never answer these calls, or I always hang up on these people, but for some reason I decided to talk to you. There's 70%, my mindset is that these people want to talk to me, and I know that I'm what they need, right? So it is really 70% mental. Just like winning, I heard a podcast recently, and 70% of winning a gold medal or being, an Olympic athlete is actually mental. And the visualization, the exercise we just did, right? I don't take that lightly. It's not just to fill time. this is what I want people to understand, because if you are thinking negatively and you're thinking nobody wants to talk to me and, oh, I hope they don't answer the phone and like all of those things, then that's probably what you're going to get. And every once in a while, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day or something like that, right? Every once in a while, you're going to have some luck and things are going to fall in your lap, and that's great. But imagine if you were going into it, I know that I'm the right real estate agent. I know that I'm the best person for this. I know that this person should talk to me because I have the right resources, because I know what I'm talking about, because, right? And some people aren't a good fit. And this is my last key. And I think this is really important because people get hung up on this. A lot of people get hung up on this because they're told, oh, if you don't ask for the appointment at least this number of times, or if you don't press, or if you don't try, or if you don't, then you're not really doing your job as, calling prospective buyers and sellers. And that is know when to give up. Okay. So timeline, concessions, asking if they have a real estate agent, knowing that you're the right person for the job, mental capacity, right? And then just making sure that you know when to give up. I'll just say that. Know when to give up, because I get too many people, and you should see my stop follow-up list. Like, okay, I will just tell you guys last week, I will tell you how many calls I made personally. Last week, we had 464 calls. Out of that, I had 17 wins. And on Wednesday of last week, I was at the emergency dentist. So I only worked 4 days. And I was also in extreme pain for the first few days of the week. But 17 wins, 17. On Thursday, it was a really great day. I had 8 appointments on Thursday. So I also know when to give up, though. If somebody is being rude, if somebody does not sound like somebody I would want to work with, if they're giving me attitude right off the bat, no, not a serious buyer. If they're like, well, what can you do for me? And what are you going to give me? And I don't work with real estate agents unless you can show me the house and da-da-da. Like, sorry, there's other fish out there, right? There are other people that you are going to attract. So, Suma, where do I get the numbers to call? Which sources? Say that again, Herb.
I love hearing that. I got one rule for me. It's like, if someone's rude to me, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to work with them in real life? No. So, no, it's okay to say this isn't right. Okay. And then Suma, your question. Because I own an ISA company, these are my clients that I'm calling for. So, and they provide the phone numbers. Most of what I call is warm internet leads through like Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click. Most of my clients use street text, and then I have a couple clients that don't use street text that are more. I have one client that does Zillow and a lot of other like cash offer stuff. And there's just different various sources, but most of what I call, the majority of the time, are warm internet leads. Somebody that clicked, I want to know how much my home is worth, that kind of thing. So those are my points. This topic, I guess we could call this, manifestation and follow-up 101.
That's very nice.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know it's going into the winter months, and a lot of real estate agents hibernate for these next few months. Don't be one of those agents.
No. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to practice the visualization technique.
Yes. I think it takes some getting used to, but it really does help. And put it next to your bed or wherever, like maybe do it first thing in the morning. Also, one other side note, when you wake up in the morning, those first thoughts, I have to train myself. This is going to be a great day. I'm going to have, wonderful conversations. Like when I wake up and I'm like, man, I don't want to get up today. I wish I did. Then that's what that's what I get. And when you go to sleep, tomorrow's going to be a great day. I got a lot accomplished, whatever, positive, 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 like everything you're putting out there. Make sure you do that. So that's it. That's it. Thank you guys. Hopefully I see you in Miami next week.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right, bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.